That was good.
That was great.
That was wonderful.
Wonderful stuff. Today, we are here together in person, which is always more fun than having to do this remotely, I would say. It's nice having us in the same room.
The audio quality is much better. I've been working on that. I promise. Been working in that direction.
We're looking at the box right now of the audio equipment that we will set up once we get everything put together. But for today's episode, we're going to be talking about how our personal style has changed. So we did a podcast a little while back talking about our personal style as a whole. We're giving a bit of an update. Where is it now? How is it going?
Didn't we record that back in 2019?
I think so. It was one of the first ones that we had done.
Wow. Jeez.
Talk about time has changed.
Exactly.
So we're going to get into that a little bit. I guess we'll kick off by me asking you a question, Austin.
Yes, sir.
Give us we'll say like a 2-minute rundown of what your personal style is for those who haven't heard our old podcast.
So, like what it is now, or because I don't remember what I said back in the initial
Well, just
one.
like an overview of the whole thing. So right now we're talking about the what's changing, what we're working on.
Gotcha.
But just give us a whole overview, bird's eye.
So, bird's eye view. It's pretty up here. I would say the biggest thing that I'm working on right now is my casual game and my casual expression. I've got, sartorial tailored looks for days, but the casual game is something that it's not that I've been scared of. I just haven't had anything that's inspired me. So I'm really working on that. But I'm also very inspired by Parisian looks, more structured looks. Like Husbands of Paris is a big inspiration for me. Schiffinelli, Edward Sexton. But I do love the laid back feel of like a Roman tailoring, even though it still has a more structured look to it. The Italian lifestyle just feels a lot more kind of like relaxed, and you're just being, which is what I think the Parisians do very well, too. So those are some of the things that really stick out to me.
So what is what would you say you're doing well? What is kind of like your aesthetic? If someone were to do a quick screenshot of you, what would it be right now?
I should probably do a little segment of this on my reels or something, but I like mixing 4 patterns together. I like mixing things that are different. Today I'm only mixing 3, but I love mixing 4 patterns together and finding the right proportions and the shapes and everything like that. So I'd say that's probably the biggest thing that I like doing is, mixing patterns together in different colors. I love textures too.
Yep. You're a big texture guy.
I really am. That's why I love Dorme fabrics.
Well, and it's also funny because Austin being in Texas, a lot of these thicker like tweeds and heavier wools aren't conducive to the environment, but you do it anyway because you just like them.
Yeah, and it's just it gives some visual intrigues. And
Absolutely.
So that's why when someone's coming in to get a suit, I typically recommend a herringbone first, because it's still a good year-round weight typically for most herringbones, but it gives if you're doing just a solid navy, I tell guys you can treat a herringbone as like a solid, because I think you can outside if you're wearing a herringbone tie, but most guys aren't wearing herringbone ties.
I know a few guys who make them.
They're great.
Pretty interesting.
But I'm going to switch it to you, unless you had a follow-up question.
No, that was it.
Okay. So what about you? I know that you like to, I would say between the two of us, you definitely push the boundaries more extreme than I do and would prefer. But like the large oversized cuff, like on jeans and stuff like that, I think that's interesting. Not something that I like because it doesn't really speak to me. Because if you think about it, style is like art. Just because it doesn't speak to you doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah.
Also, you can if you look at it like a steak, some guys are just like butter, pepper, and salt. Some guys are like, I like ketchup on mine. That's fine.
Those people are psychos.
You're wrong if you like ketchup on your steak.
Bad analogy, because that is wrong.
Yeah, true. I'm sorry about that. So, going back to what I said before that stupid analogy, Lewis, you like to push the boundaries. So I know through attempting more bold and crazy looks, you've found some things that you like and find things that you don't. Because I think even pre-COVID or maybe early on in COVID, you were wearing like ball caps with tailored looks. And I haven't seen you do that in a while.
Still do. Actually, me and Sean took some pictures in Dallas with me with the big cuff pants, my gray suit jacket, the denim shirt, and then a baseball cap.
Interesting.
So that one's going to be coming at you guys real soon. And also going off of the cuff jeans, I think you would actually be a great candidate for the high cuffs because you're so much taller than me. For me, it makes me look shorter, even though that's not what I'm going for. I really don't care because I think it's a cool look.
Yeah.
But someone like you, I think it would make you look really proportionate. However, yes, I do like to push the boundaries. I feel like most of the time I'm still kind of experimenting myself, trying to just figure out what really speaks to me at the fullest capacity so that I can like put that out to the world. But I would say, yeah, I have a weird mix of things going on right now. It's a stark contrast, kind of like what you were saying, between my casual and my formal, which is where I want to try and meld the two together, because my casual is like very rugged and outdoorsy, and then my formal is very classically inspired formal. And then when they meet in the middle, it's like this weird, like almost like preppy, outdoorsy kind of look. But I kind of want the whole thing to be kind of more simpatico, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I say right now, I'd say I have a very experimental sartorial look. Like I'm okay with changing things up, like wearing baseball hats with my suits. And
so are you talking, because that picture that you were talking about in Dallas, I mean, that's more of a separate, in my opinion, I would consider that a separate look, because, you know, you're wearing the jacket, denim shirt, jeans, things like that, and the ball cap. Like, I think that makes sense. But you were wearing it, or you were talking about wearing ball caps with your full suits. Do you still do that?
I don't as of now, just because I feel like my hair game has been on point and I hate covering it up. But there are days where I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like doing my hair, and I'll throw a hat on every now and then. Also, I haven't really found any hats that I really like. I feel like I overwore the ones during the pandemic. So I'm trying to look for like some cool new, and actually a few like kind of flat brims. So stay tuned for that.
Nice.
But no, I still like the look. I still rock it from time to time, just not as much as I used to.
Okay. So from, you know, launching Primo and having your shop, how has your, or even if it has your style changed? I mean, based off like what you've been selling, have you adopted or even adapted your style to new looks, to a new aesthetic? How has that affected your perspective?
Well, now that we have brands in that we sell retail, it's been a change because I want to find ways to incorporate the clothing we sell into my style so that I can sell it better and I can present it to people. But it's actually changed probably more onto the formal side, where I'm dressing more in a suit and tie on a daily basis than I used to, just because I always want to be putting that best foot forward when I'm meeting new clients or people coming in looking at my stuff. I don't want to be caught one day just wearing a pair of jeans and a button up and be like, oh, dang, like I should have been more dressed for this. So I always try and be more formal, and the experimenting is a little bit more on the out of work hours. Just because if I really screw something up and I don't like it, I don't want to have to change halfway through the day. But that's kind of where it's evolved to at this point.
Okay. So question.
Answer.
I'm trying to formulate this.
It's
trying
okay.
to come up with like on the fly. So even in your tailored pieces, I mean you've got one like the denim-y blue VBC that you have.
Yeah.
Like you did some really interesting stuff. Because does that have a soft shoulder or a standard shoulder?
Standard.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
So you did a triple patch and you did the edge pick stitching, but you didn't. Did you do the 6mm or the edge pick stitch?
I think you did the edge. I'd have to check it out. It might have been the edge.
Because you've got
I forget those
6 details on this one.
Yes, this one is the 6.
Okay. So, but in that one, you did a double-breasted, no lapel waistcoat with a pointed bottom, a flat front trouser with a fish mouth pocket, and a cuff. Like you did a lot of details on that.
Yeah, we changed it up. And I don't know if this is a great thing or not, but I kind of see a lot of my custom pieces is almost like, I don't want to say costumes, because it's not a costume.
Yeah, that's the wrong word.
It's more versatile, but like I'm creating a character with the clothing. So in that one, I was very Westernly inspired, but I wanted it to again be formal. I wanted to look like a normal suit, but also something that's easy to break up. So those pants I would wear as casual pants. The jacket I would wear as a sport coat. But I also wanted to give like this urban cowboy Western aesthetic to it. So like in my mind designing it, I had that character in mind. So I guess it would be kind of like a costume, but like it's a costume that you don't just wear as like a set piece. Like it's something that's part of my everyday wear now.
So I just want to add to that for a second. So big text that I built, the gray one. So it's kind of a gray. It's not really bird's eye. I think probably nailhead is probably the term for it, but it's got a lot of texture to it. It's actually a blazer fabric that I made into a 3-piece. Rope shoulder, wide peak lapel. I did a brown lapel piping. Self fabric buttons. The lapel is actually in a brown. Is it contrasted in a brown. 5-button waistcoat, frog mouth pockets. I did a top stitch down the side and on the waistcoat and a 2-inch cuff. And I call it big text because living in Texas, we don't have a manufacturer yet that does the Western yokes like on the front and the back and the different pockets and treatments and stuff. If it wasn't like frozen right now, I would take you up to ML Letty's in the stockyards. They've got some cool pieces. I meant to tell you this the other day, but when I was up there, I had looked at some of their garments that they had custom made, and there were, like the thick kind of like Western loops that are like almost an inch wide. This guy had 4 pairs made in like the same fabric, had the Western, top pocket and everything, and one was kind of like an orangey green Solaro fabric. One was a fuchsia, and one was like this like caramel, kind of like yellow mustard type of look. And I'm going, and they were, it almost looked like silk. I mean, because it had a little bit of a sheen and a luster to it, which was super cool. But anyway, I just thought you could appreciate that. But anyway.
Absolutely.
So I designed that to wear it with boots. It's got a wider foot. Wear that with a like Western shirt or something like that. I was going to go to the rodeo. And then I realized that tickets like tripled in price between last year to this year. And I'm going, I think I'm going to pass this time. Unless someone has free tickets, then let me know. But by the time that this launch, it doesn't really matter. But still next year, let me know. Anyway, I wanted to take that inspiration and I think Nathaniel Adams he wrote the book I Am Dandy and We Are Dandy, co-wrote it with Rose Callahan. He said in a video once, he goes, I dress based off how I feel, but I feel differently based off how I'm dressed. And so I think that's good to have different looks and not necessarily like characters or costumes, because I mean, we've said this before. Just because you wear a Superman costume doesn't mean that you can lift anything and, fly. But you can have a different aesthetic. I mean, personally for me, I like the Parisian aesthetic, the structured architectural type of look, and the kind of, I don't know if je ne sais quoi is the right term or phrase, but just a little more relaxed. And you're just embracing who you are. But I've also experimented with some unconstructed. So I actually got this piece made last year. And if you see in the camera, it actually looks like a rope shoulder. This is actually completely unconstructed. I mean, there's no shoulder padding here. And I did a spalla camicia pleated shoulder, and it's triple patch pocket, wide pick stitch. And I just thought this would be interesting. I did it as a 3-piece, but they didn't have enough fabric. I was like, crap. So I only made a 2-piece. But this is something that I've experimented with soft tailoring. I'm not the hugest fan of soft tailoring because there's just something about putting on a structured garment that makes you feel like, really good. But sometimes a soft jacket looks really good.
Bad. Absolutely.
Yeah, I went to market and there was this the olive check I was telling you about. That had the blue and stuff like that. I'm going, I think I really want that to wear with some gray or brown flannels or something like that. I think that would be a nice interjection. And I've even seen a lot of Parisian men like nowadays incorporate a soft shoulder into their look, but it doesn't look Italian. You know how guys have just, done the, wide peak lapel, soft shoulder, 3-2 roll. And that's part of the reason why I had such a visceral reaction to going against soft tailoring, because everyone was doing it.
Yep.
And I just didn't want to do what everyone else was doing. And so part of it was countercultural, but I think the Parisian aesthetic works in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah. Well,
or it
and
can.
how old is the big boy? What is it?
Big Tex?
Big Tex.
Big Tex is, I got him last year, maybe in 20, but I think I got him in 21.
Okay.
Maybe August of 20. I'd have to go back and check, but maybe 2 years.
Okay, so it's not even that old.
Yeah, he's really not that old.
Awesome.
My very first suit, Big Boy, not Big Tex, Big Boy. Big Boy's been retired. I got to replace him. Good times, but also I kind of messed him up a little bit from the jump. Like, so I did, you've seen Big Boy before. I've talked about him, but it was a single-breasted, but I did lapel buttonholes on both sides in a purple, 3 sleeve buttons with the last one a purple, and then I did like this kind of peanut butter brown. And Big Boy is what we call blogger blue, almost blogger blue. He's kind of like a shade darker. But
You're just saying that to feel better about yourself.
I really am. Like, Big Boy was beautiful. I got a lot of comments on him, but I got to get something less crazy. I still want to do a bright blue, but Big Boy's going to be replaced. Yeah.
Gotcha. So let's kind of slide into the avenue of what we're working on. You had mentioned you're wanting to work on your casual representation, your voice when it comes to casual wear. What are you currently working on or paying attention to kind of achieve that?
So another thing that I did want to mention was talking about colors and finding the right colors for me. Turquoise is actually a really good color for me with my skin tone. Also pops with my eyes. I've got blue eyes, and so it definitely works really well. I'm trying to find neutrals that work. This summer I'm going to get a tobacco brown fresco, and it's going to be killer. But I'm trying to find neutrals and colors that work with my skin tone, different fuchsias and things like that. But you don't always need to be sartorial and dressed up and suited and booted, as the English call it. I actually I went to the Pantherella showroom at the market. There was a guy from England. He's like, well, all suited and, we love being suited and booted, but now in the finance industry, this is a horrible British accent, but this is, for the sake of the story, what he sounded like. We're not suited and booted as we once were. I'm going, dang it. Like, Englishmen, used to be, the pinnacle of, used to be super dressed up. So, I love being in a suit when it's cut well. You feel great. You look great. But also, I feel more relaxed that way. I've just never found a casual aesthetic that really spoke to me. That's why I really love the Parisian aesthetic, because they mix dressy pieces with casual pieces, as in, a structured jacket with a denim shirt and a pair of jeans, or black gabardine trousers with a boot with more of a block heel on it, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So that's something that works in Fort Worth, but it makes sense and it can still be casual. So things like that. I've bought a couple 5 pockets. I got a custom pair of jeans, things like that. Maybe summer knitwear. I don't know, but I'm just trying to find different looks and dip my toes in that way. I don't want to wear khakis and polos all the time.
Yeah, and it's casual can be done in so many different ways, which is why I love casual. Like, we can talk about shirt jackets, we can talk about different types of shoes. Like, anybody can have a
linen safari jackets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can have a wildly different expression when it comes to your casual wear, where formal wear is the same. You can be just as creative, but you're in more of a box to say, because when you're dressing casually, you can wear something that's outrageous and be like, well, it's just a casual piece. Like, I just threw it together. Like, it is what it is.
What do you think about suits with shorts?
I like it.
Okay.
Well, like you're talking about like a matching set.
Yeah,
not like wearing my suit jacket with a pair of shorts.
No. Yeah. I've seen a couple people do it, but it's with linens or cottons or frescoes or stuff like that. This one guy had it was like a crimson red linen. It looked beautiful. He wore it with shorts and like espadrilles or a pair of like loafers, and maybe a button-down collar shirt or like a t-shirt, and it just looks super cool because you break it up.
Yep.
Especially with those fabrics, and it looks super good. But when you wear it together, it's uniform, but it's still not dressy, even though you're technically wearing a suit.
Yeah. Well, and that's where, like, there's a picture that surfaced a while ago of LeBron James wearing his shorts in a short suit look, but he used a more traditional, like a sharkskin gray suit fabric that he turned into shorts, and I personally think it looked horrible. But if you play with the textures and that kind of stuff, I think it looks really good. And actually, for this summer piece, I've been wanting this forever, but I want to make a cotton brown khaki suit, but I wanted to make it one with pants and one with a pair of shorts so that I could alternate it throughout the summer.
Oh, so a jacket with pants and shorts,
and then make an extra pair of shorts out of the same.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So that way, like, yeah, if I'm walking around in a pair of boat shoes, I can just throw the shorts on, throw maybe like a gingham shirt. But if I want to dress it up, I have a matching jacket. But if I want to dress it up even further, throw on the khaki pants, khaki jacket, dress shirt, tie, kind of go that route.
Interesting.
Because I like the look. It's very European, but I think that it's one of those things that it speaks a lot and it's very in your face, but it's not to the point where it's like, that was stupid. It's just more of like an intriguing thing in my mind.
Yeah. So I've got my eye on this. It's a silk and linen. It's a 180s weight, so I don't know how well it would make up like with pants, but it's that kind of deep purple I was telling you about.
Oh.
And I thought, well, I mean, as a full-on suit, that would be cool. But what if you made that with a suit and shorts? Because like throw that on with like a t-shirt or like a Breton stripe shirt, or even like a Johnny Collar polo.
Yeah.
And then pop that on the outside. Like that would be just kind of interesting. Now that's a little more like dressy, but still you're wearing shorts, which dresses it down. But I don't know. That's something that kind of pushes the limits a little bit more. That's why I'm glad you're my friend and that we're co-hosts together, because you view things from a different perspective, and me being more of a traditionalist. I don't want to say traditionalist, but you know, purist is a better word. You know, that's kind of how I view it. But I mean, those hard and fast rules. I mean, even menswear rules aren't rules anymore. They're just guidelines to taste. You don't wear brown shoes with a black suit for a reason.
Yeah.
But there's other things you can do. Like you can wear a black suit casually by getting a linen or a cotton or a fresco, knocking down the shoulder, doing a patch on it, you know, things like that.
Yeah. Well, and I was actually talking to one of my tailors the other day about different suit things. And I was talking about buying the denim VBC cloth looking suit or just a traditional blue. And for me, it's a little different because I love clothing and it's something I'm really passionate about. For other people, I would give different recommendation to. Recommendation, yeah.
Okay. You heard it first. We came up with a new word.
You're going to get a recommendation from me and my business. But it was like, life is too short for me to want to buy a basic blue suit rather than doing what I'm excited to do. Because not saying like, oh, I don't want to come to the end of my life and be like, oh, I got a blue suit. That's kind of vain. But
it's going to be the last thing you're thinking about, let's be honest.
But if I'm going to be getting pictures taken and putting it out there, I would rather have that be documented as something that I tried and wore and then got hit by a bus the next day than, oh, he wore a really nice, cool blue suit right before he died. Like, oh, that's not what I want. So it's like, to me, it was like, let's try something new. Let's push the boundaries. Because one, life is so short, but it's also really long, to the point where if I live to be 80 years old, I'm not going to be thinking about that blue Western style suit that I got when I was 24, because I'm going to be like, oh, that was forever ago. But if I die tomorrow, I'm going to regret not trying it.
Yeah, it's the aspect of trying something different. Now, here's a different perspective, not to contrast nor combat what you just said, just looking at it from a different perspective. I need a Navy suit. I really do need a Navy suit. And hopefully by the time this airs, I'll actually have mine and I can practice what I preach. But I've got a 3-piece bird's eye suit. It's a beautiful suit. Looks great. I just need the regular twill suit that you can dress up, you know, dress down a little bit, you know, things like that. Yep. You just need the classics. And again, we're going to talk about this in a different episode too. But you know, the fundamental essential pieces. Now, I was going to get the regular VBC, just get something that looks good. And the more I thought about it, the less excited I was about it. So here was my solution. You ready to hear my solution?
Let's go.
No, look me in the eye. Don't
no,
look
them.
No, we
got to look at our viewers. We're excited.
Are you ready? Are you focused for this? Dorme.
Ooh,
now,
shocker.
This, I know, shocker for me. But, you know, I had mentioned this in the past. You know, the reason some guys don't want to dress up is because, you know, they feel that the form, they want function over form. But you can have both. That's why I love the cloth so much, because it's beautiful. It's luxurious. I mean, even the Amadeus 365. I mean, I think it's even a 120s, maybe a 130s. So it's got a beautiful hand to it, but it's a 2x2 warp and weft, and it drapes so well. This cloth travels so well. So me being more of a purist, wanting something that's just good and classic and going to, just the ebbs and flows of trends and, fads and everything like that. Just a good, beautiful, timeless suit that I may be able to pass down to my son if he fills out like I have in the last couple of years. But that was my thought of just getting luxury, which makes it fun, but also the functionality of just a simple worsted twill navy suit. I know this sounds boring. To me, it's exciting.
Well, and it's also, I think it goes back to, you only live once.
Yeah.
Like, why get a basic blue VBC? Like, get something that you're excited about.
And it's not to knock VBC. It's a good cloth.
Exactly.
But I have the availability to buy a beautiful Dorme cloth.
So why not?
Exactly. Yeah.
So in your pursuit of the casual game, what are you putting into practice to do that rather than just falling into the same habits and being like, I'll just buy a suit because that's what I like?
Yeah. So we're actually here in what I call the Cloffice. This is actually my apartment. This is my, I would say this is my,
sanctuary, safe space.
What was the place that Superman had? Fortress of Solitude? Let's go with that. This is my Fortress of Solitude.
Okay.
I've got a rack right here of 40 plus shirts. I love dress shirts. I just love beautiful shirts. And I have them all color coordinated and everything. I've got my sport coats and odd trousers here, and then my full suits right there. So I just love clothes, and it makes sense because it's the industry that I'm in.
Yep.
Now, do I need another suit outside of the Navy? No, I don't need anything.
No.
But I want it because I love it. I really don't spend a lot on much, if anything else, outside of cigars. And I just want something good. So to get back to your question, sorry, that was a little bit of a tangent, but hey, that's just the DNA of our podcast. So the biggest thing that I'm trying to integrate is more sport coats or odd jackets as like a safari jacket or a shirt jacket. The only downside about a shirt jacket for me, I want something that has interior pockets because, I can keep my phone, wallet, keys, everything on my person and not in my pockets because it's uncomfortable. Now, I recently got a pair of jeans. Our jeans are all made in Italy. I did the higher end construction, better fabric, yada, 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 all the good stuff. I don't think I'm a jean guy, man. I really don't think I'm a jean guy. Nothing against jeans. I mean, a good pair of denim look fantastic, but it's just the feel. It's truly not me. Now, I have a good pair of jeans that's going to last me in a lot of occasions. I mean, if I'm going to go dancing and two-step in and cutting a rug and stuff like that, makes sense. But I'd rather be in a cotton trouser or something like that. So I recently bought a pair of kind of a medium khaki trouser. Khaki trouser. We have a podcast, and I still haven't learned how to speak yet. I'm going to get better at that. But that's an area that I'm trying to grow in with, cotton trousers that I can just tuck in a T-shirt or a casual polo or just a sports shirt and roll the sleeves up. That's something that I'm thinking about.
I think you need to allow somebody else to style you when it comes to your jeans and casual. Because if you think about it, you are a master of the formal wear. So if somebody wants to become good at formal wear, they should come to you, get advice, and you should teach them. If you're learning casual, you need to find someone you admire their casual look and be like, teach me, master.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Nothing has really inspired me yet. I haven't found anything that really speaks to me.
Of casual dressing. Allow them to influence the way you pick your denim jeans, and it might change how you look at them. But it's not an easy thing. I mean,
this is the least Texan thing about me, and I swear I think this is a sin. I feel like this is against the law, but just being a Texan and not having a pair of jeans that I like feels so weird to say, but I've tried different jeans. I mean, these jeans that I made were $400+
yeah,
retail.
You tried.
I
gave
tried.
it your best at bat.
Gave it the best at bat. And it's not working for me. Now, again, Dorme in their Naturals book have a wool and cotton fabrics that I can make casual trousers out of. And so I'm still getting kind of the luxury aspect of it, but also something that's can be casual at the same time.
Yeah.
So you dressing up and dress down, being in men's specialty stores, you have to sell 5 pockets because that's going to be here to stay.
Yeah.
I don't even think we need a hot take on that because it just is what it is.
No, absolutely.
So, oh, sorry, that was too loud. That was aggressive. I have a pair of 5 pockets, and it's, they're good. They're comfortable. I like the feel better than the denim. I think it's just the weave of the denim. I think that's what it is. When I feel it on my body, I'm not comfortable in it. And that's me. I'm not looking down anyone who wears jeans.
Yeah.
But I've tried it. I've tried $400 pair of jeans, and that still didn't work for me.
Well, I guess you're just a lost soul. I guess
cause.
that's where we're at.
Did you just call me a lost cause?
I said soul. A lost soul.
I feel like that's almost worse.
It is. Well, but that's just the kit. No, I'm just kidding. Well, and that's another thing, though, in clothing is you need to know what you're good.
Yeah.
Well, not what you're good at, but what you like and what you don't
Yeah.
like. Like, what's the point in throwing all this money at jeans just to in another 4 years be like, yep, I don't like them. Like,
so here's something, thinking about different looks, especially in shirting. I was looking at more like chambrays and knitted and stuff like that. I've got a buddy, Carl Bency. You guys should follow him. I can't remember. It's CB Tiger or something like that. I can't remember his Instagram name. Actually, let me find it right now because you guys need to follow this guy. He is absolutely fantastic. I know I'm getting on my phone right now, but
it's okay.
Carl.
These are the things that we're able to do.
Here we go. It's Carl Sir Tiger. Exactly how it spells is how
you type it.
Yeah, is how you type it. There you go. He is fantastic. So he had this look. He was wearing navy trousers, and I think it was a cotton, if not it was a wool. And he was wearing this beautiful, like kind of lighter blue, it kind of like medium light chambray. And it could have been a lightweight denim too. Pleated shoulder, pleated cuff, widespread, rounded collar. I think it had no placket down the front. And he had some 2 eyelet derby shoes. And he was wearing this hat with it. He wears these amazing hats. And he wore just a simple blue ascot. And I thought, that is super cool. So I thought like my casual shirts could be a widespread rounded collar with a pleated shoulder, pleated cuff. That's something I could wear with a, cotton trouser with a pair of loafers. And you bring in the beauty and the design of like the handwork that goes into that shoulder, into the cuff and things like that with a good pair of shoes. But you're still wearing a cotton trouser or a chino or something like that. Since I have long hair, I probably wouldn't do that because it doesn't really work for me. So I'll just pull it back or let the mane fly. But that's probably something I would try. Have you ever done because I know your manufacturer does it, the 1-piece button-down collar? I've gotten one made.
Not yet. Working on it.
I think you should try it. They're great.
To.
I've made a few for people.
There's a few collars, fabrics I want to try it with. So that'll definitely be in the pipeline. And again, I think it'd be a cool casual piece as I'm trying to develop this oneness in myself and my clothing.
So and I asked this, my friends are probably sick of me asking this, but doesn't matter. What are some of the next pieces you're going to have made, whether that be dressy or maybe you're going to pick up? I mean, did you see anything at the Dallas Market show that you're going to, through your seasonal order for your shop, you're going to bring in for yourself?
Yeah, those sweaters I saw. Oh my gosh. I can't stop thinking about those
$1,500 sweater. You're going to get one for yourself?
Absolutely. I might get 2 of them. But
$3,000 worth of sweaters.
Well, I really want to get some stuff. I pretty much want to get something of everything that I sell to an extent because, again, my store is a direct reflection of the way I would style something. Like the store is built around not my aesthetic, but some things that I think are interesting, not necessarily like a general service to everybody type of store. So anything I get, I do want some element of it in my own wardrobe just because I want to embody the brand 100% fully. So that goes to the ties I was looking at, some different pocket squares, some of the finer details. I really want to level those up because for the longest time I was like, oh yeah, just go buy like your $10 pocket squares, like just throw it in there. Who cares? It's just a little detail, but it's like, no, why don't you actually care about those just as much as you care about the fabric on your suit?
Yeah.
So those are some things that I'm trying to focus on, but otherwise, like just trying to keep experimenting and not being afraid of failing with an outfit.
What would be considered a fail in an outfit?
A hefty price tag that ended up looking like trash.
Okay.
That's pretty much the only real fail, because for me, I don't have a huge unlimited amount of money to just buy whatever I want yet. So if I buy something, I want to make sure it's something that I like enough that I'm going to reuse over and over and over again, as well as practice what I preach, to where I don't want to just buy something and then throw it away next season. I don't want to buy something that's trendy. I want to buy something that I think will trend, but is also going to stand the test of time with all my pieces. So that would be a fail, is if it's like after like a season, I was like, yeah, I don't want this anymore, and I got rid of it. Or I spent a large amount of money and then realized this was stupid.
So here's something I wanted to interject, because this is direct reflection of me, but also I want to hear because I think you've gone back and forth on this. I don't know how you're going to take this, but I'm going to experiment with the 3-button. Like, I'm talking not the 3-2 roll, the hard 3-button. Now, we watched No Time to Die last night, and one of the in the first 15 minutes, James Bond is wearing a 3-button khaki. Was it like a cotton or like a linen suit?
Looked like a cotton.
Yeah, it looked like a cotton suit, unconstructed, but he wore like a linen shirt with like a knit tie. Beautiful, beautiful suit. And it was the hard 3-button, not the 3-2 roll. I mean, he had the top 2 buttons buttoned, and it looked wonderful. So I'm planning on experimenting with that. Dorme also has I think it's in their Amadeus, maybe be their 365 something, but it's a like lighter blue with a purple stripe running through it.
Okay.
And I want to do, and this is another person I've followed, Duncan Quinn. He's actually a former lawyer who has his own shop in New York. He's got a really cool aesthetic. Look up videos on him. Really interesting guy. He would be fun to get on the podcast.
Ooh.
I've sent him a message before. He would be fun to talk to.
That'd be really cool.
But anyway, Duncan, if you're watching this, come on the podcast. We'd love to talk to you. I would, for sure. I'll geek out the whole time. You can
I'll just listen.
Go get some coffee, something like that. But anyway, he does a lot of like 3 buttons, a more narrow lapel. I'm not the biggest fan of the narrow lapel, but I'm thinking a hard 3-button, slanted pockets, no ticket pocket, rope shoulder, 4-inch peak lapel. So it's not like a 3.5, like a smaller peak lapel, but like fairly substantial, but not super wide.
I don't know.
Only 2-piece, not 3-piece.
I like low button stances, and that's why I don't like 3-pieces, because I feel like...
You mean 3 buttons?
Yeah, 3-piece. I love 3-pieces. Like, if I was wearing this right now, this looks good.
Yeah.
But if I added this, to me, just the proportion, like, it goes too quickly to the button. Just don't like it.
Now, I will say it has to work on the right person.
Yeah.
Like, if you're...
I'm not the right person.
I'm taller, about 6'1", 6'2". It would look better on me proportionally and aesthetically than it would you.
100%.
Now, there are people who are shorter, and like, for example, there's a guy Onassis Aristal. I can't remember this guy's name. Drop it in the comments if you guys remember who I'm talking about. But he was a short, stocky guy, and he always wore white silk shirts and double-breasted suits. And he was a short, stocky guy who, that's not the double-breasted is going to visually add some weight horizontally, but the way his were cut still looked beautiful, even though he had, he was more of a portly fit. So, I mean, if it's tailored properly, it's still going to look good. And if you have the attitude of, I really don't give a crap what you think, it's going to look good. So, I know we disagree on that, but I think the 3-button could work.
You can make me one, and I'll try it.
I can make you want to not try it?
And I'll try it.
Oh.
So if you buy me one, I'll try it.
How about I help you design one?
Nope, sounds not as fun.
Buy it on a cheap cloth.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe we'll like get it as like a try-on fit or something.
That wouldn't be bad.
Like a muslin or something.
Yeah,
I can
we
throw
could
away.
do that. That's an idea.
But how do we want to land this bad boy?
So, I mean, as we've talked, I mean, I would definitely recommend go back to our earlier episodes, find the personal style episode that we were talking about, and you can kind of hear the contrast on what we thought then and even how we think now. One, the quality is going to be much better. You're going to hear much less ums because we've been doing this for a couple of years now.
Hopefully you hear less ums.
Oh my gosh, I certainly hope. I go back and I cringe some of the earlier episodes. where it was just super muffled, and I'm like, and like, no, it was so cringy. Now it's gotten much better.
I think so. I think we've beefed it up, and just like we're working on our personal style, we are working on the podcast. We're working on other areas of our business and life, as should you be, guys. Clothing isn't the as we just talked about getting better at this. It's not the end all be all. There's so much more that goes into it. So with your personal style, it also comes with personal development as well.
And one last thing to mention here, like with personal style, it doesn't really ever land. I mean, you never really arrive. Mm-mm. I mean, it's a constant refining. You're shaping. Arrive. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you should still be moldable, because as you change, there's one guy, Tanner Guzzi. He used to work at Beckett and Robb, and he like wore suits all the time. Then he and his family moved, I think, more deep into like the desert of Utah, and he mainly wears more like rugged outerwear pieces, boots, heftier cotton chinos, different things like that, because it's functional to him, and he's fully working from home. He still wears a suit every now and then, but not as much as he does. So I mean, if I lived in that lifestyle too, I mean, that would make sense. I would probably do the same thing, but I'm in the industry. It's what I love, and I'm trying different things. But like I said, jeans don't necessarily work for me, but I still gave it a shot. I mean, just give different things a shot. Throw something against the wall, see what sticks.
Absolutely. Always be learning, always be growing, and never be too set on what you think is correct in the moment, because it could be, could not be, who knows. Yep. But anyways, thank you guys for listening to this episode. So much fun. I always like talking about my personal style because it's just easy to talk about. Like, I could just go on forever and ever and ever and ever, but we're not going to make you guys sit through that. So
unless you want to, and then you can check out the bonus content on our Patreon.
Yeah, we're going to be working on bonus content that is mainly just our hot takes, ramblings, blah, 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 all of the above. But yeah, you got to check it out. But thank you guys for being here.
Appreciate you.
From Primo Tailoring.
Austin here at Gentleman's Avenue, also partner in the Man Shop in Arlington. If you're in the DFW area, come by. We've got some great stuff. If you're in Erie, go see this guy.
Yeah, if you're feeling it.
He'll buy you a cup of coffee. He'll buy you a steak. Sit down.
Stop it. Get some help.
Please like, comment, subscribe.
Share.
Please. That definitely helps us. And follow us on our Menswear Mindset podcast Instagram page. If you have any, reach us directly there. We do have our personal pages as well, but if it has to do with the podcast, please check us out there. Cool. We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.